I feel like in my last sort of video and presentation of what I'm working on, I didn't really do a good job of outlining the specifics or the parameters of what I'm ultimately trying to achieve, right? I did talk about kind of these bigger goals in the sense that I wanted to get down to a certain weight and be able to put up this much on a deadlift, a squat, bench press, and things like that. And that's all well and good, right? But as far as having a concrete plan goes, I didn't really go into that. And so I really want to put out a video outlining exactly what my plan looks like. And I'm going to acknowledge that this is a really bold plan. I've never really done anything with this level of concerted effort or rigor before in recent memory. Back in 2022 is probably the closest where I was going to the gym about 6 days a week, but I wasn't really as dialed in as much as I wanted to be. And on top of that, in truth, I was not really pushing myself through the kind of limits that I wanted to see, right? I was kind of plateauing. I looked good. I looked like I was lifting weights, but I didn't look like I was like really getting jacked. That always kind of frustrated me. So I think I'm going to sort of just tweak what I've got going on and push myself to an upper limit. So I'm just going to become like a total gym nut over the next like 3 months. I have a couple of things that are going to sort of hamper those efforts, and I use that term liberally. But I am going to Ireland for about a week at the end of October, beginning of November, and then on top of that, like we have the holiday season coming up. And it's wintertime, it's going to get colder, things are going to get a bit more difficult, but I don't really care. I'm kind of tired of the rut that I've been in, and I'd love to start 2025 in this sort of catalyzed energy. And I'm just feeling like now's the best time to get this started. So I'm saying, screw it, we're just going to do it. So let's just kind of roll the tape. I'm going to throw up a rough idea of what my schedule looks like right up here, and we can sort of follow along with it. And I'm just going to read off of my spreadsheet that I've got laid out for just kind of easier purposes. But there are a couple of things that in my research I realized are sort of like crucial rules when you're sort of building your body out and improving your physical fitness. There is a certain point at which you kind of will plateau in your effort. An hour in the gym is going to mean a lot, but after about an hour, hour and a half in the gym, those results really start to peter off, and you're not actually going to net like an exponential difference or improvement in your day-to-day lifting. If anything, you might actually reduce the efficacy because you're putting in more effort, straining your body for longer, and not giving yourself enough time for recovery. So essentially, I've limited myself to, as far as lifting weights go, I'm going to be doing a 6 day a week lifting schedule, rotating my arms and shoulders, legs, chest, and back. And I can do this because I'm still relatively young, and also I'm like a beginner again. I don't have like this, you know, maximalized like physique. Like this is kind of where you get that exponential growth as I understand it, right? But I'm only going to be doing about 45 minutes, and there's going to be about 5 exercises each lifting session, right? So I have about a handful of arms exercises that I'll do for weightlifting, handful of shoulder. I have about 8 leg exercises, which is fine, a couple chest and a couple back, right? So that's what's going to be going on there. And then in addition to that, I'll add in about 15 minutes for yoga and stretching every workout session, about 15 minutes for a sauna session every day of those, 5, 6 days I'm doing lifting. And yeah, then I'm also going to be doing a good amount of cardio. One of my goals I really want to be able to do, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and I really want to be able to do the Charleston Half Marathon, which comes up in January, and I have no training. I might not even be able to do it, but I'm going to try to get myself to a point where I can do it. Um, and I also want to do the Cooper River Bridge Run when that comes around sometime next year. I think it's in May. But I need to kind of be building up that resilience, that efficacy in my system, because I can run 2 miles at, like a 10-minute mile right now, 9-minute mile, which is fine. Like I can run, but I want to be better at it and I want to push my body. And also running is a good leg exercise and all this other stuff. And it's a great sort of calorie burner for losing weight and things like that. So we're really going to try to kick that in high gear. The first couple of weeks, I'm only going to be running about 2 to 3 miles. I really want, my goal is that by week 3, I'm able to run across the Cooper River Bridge at whatever pace I set. I think for me, just the mental aspect of doing it will be more for me as like an accomplishment than like not doing it at all and just kind of running the distance, right? Which is like I think 3 miles or something like that. On rest days, which are going to be Sundays for me, I'm going to be doing 10,000 steps a day, just walking. And then Saturdays, again, I'm not looking to really kind of hammer my body. So I'm only going to do like a 1 mile run on those days. I have a couple worked in there on Saturdays where I want to run for time to just see how fast I am. And then at the beginning, first Saturday, I'll hit that. And then at the end of all of this, I'm going to do that as well and just kind of see how much my time has or hasn't improved. But so that's kind of just like a rundown, some ancillary stuff that I have going on in the background. I also, just to kind of like get some further exercises in for my chest and back, I have a pull-up bar like in my doorway in my bedroom that I want to hit every day. I want to start out, I can do about 3 pull-ups unassisted right now. It's really difficult. But I'm going to try and hit those. My goal is to try and get to 20 pull-ups in 4 months' time. I think that's crazy, but also relatively reasonable. And similarly, I'm just going to try to do 50 push-ups and break it up however many sets. Maybe not at once, but yeah, through sets, right, at first. But the goal is to get to like 125 in like one fell swoop, or maybe 2 or something like that, which I know I can do. I've been able to do like 50 or 60 push-ups before, but like it whooped my ass, but whatever. So yeah, it's pretty rigorous, but I think that this is really good for me because I think when you really start pushing your body, you really start to realize that the limits that you have set inside your mind are actually just these sort of guards, these governors that we put on to avoid like harm or damage. But the truth is, and David Goggins talks about this a lot in his book, and it's actually one of the more inspiring things about his book. But it's really, you don't know your limits, or you think that you know your limits, but in truth, they're totally out there. And sometimes you really just have to test yourself and keep pushing yourself. And really, I mean, yes, I want to do this to improve my physique and to look better and to feel better about myself. But at the fundamental core of all of this, I've struggled for a really long time with confidence and feeling good about myself. And I think if I can challenge myself to something that is difficult, and if I can achieve that and exceed my expectations, there's going to be a level of pride there, yes, and a sense of accomplishment. But more than that, I really hope that this whole thing rewires my brain into thinking, well, this actually was totally achievable. So if you can achieve this with yourself by pushing yourself, and what other aspects of your life can you actually achieve outside of the box and the narrative that you've created for yourself? So I'm really hoping that in some ways this is a wake-up call for me, but also just like an inspiring moment. And I think that I really need that right now because it's just, the last 2 years have been really good for me in a lot of ways. I've been making more money than I ever have in my entire life. I live in a city that I absolutely love. I'm in a great relationship. I'm in a great place with my family and all of this stuff. But there's some sort of inner turmoil in me that I'm really still kind of working on. In part of the human experience, and maybe I'll talk about this in another video, but part of the human experience when you're in your early 20s is you just don't know what the hell is going on, and you're expected to kind of just keep in lockstep with what's going on. And I just don't. And in some ways, I'm kind of despairing about this, and I don't really feel great about it. But I'm really hoping that if I can do something like this and sort of push myself in a direction where there's a challenge, there's an opportunity, and there's an actual payoff, that payoff is going to feel really, really sweet and hard earned. And I'm going to want to further pursue things that are hard but worth sort of trying. So, those are kind of my thoughts. That's my plan. As far as tracking things go, I have an Aura ring, and maybe I'll again do a video on what I think about Aura rings. But I have that. I've got MyFitnessPal Premium that I'm working with. And just a couple of other like health tracking apps on my phone, Strava, things like that. And so I have all of that data. I'll even show you kind of what the Aura thing looks like for reference. But it does a great job of tracking my sleep, tracking my heart rate variability, my heart rate, all these kinds of things that are really important to sort of have an idea of when you're trying to sort of maximize your body for some sort of physical feat or challenge. Yeah, so that's that stuff. As of right now, I've been kind of swinging between about 239 pounds and 245 pounds. I weighed myself yesterday. I was 243.4. Yeah, and that's kind of where things are at. I'm really, really overweight in like my midsection. I look like somebody who did a really good bulk. But yeah, that's kind of where things are at the moment. And we're starting today. The weightlifting session went well, I would say, and then there's a PM run. And so that's kind of the physical fitness aspect of this stuff. And so, yeah, I'll probably check in with you guys on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis about how things are going, challenges I'm facing, and things like that. And we'll kind of take it from there. As far as like diet's concerned, I guess I should probably tack that on as well. I'm really just going to try and focus on protein a good bit, but at the same time, I really don't want to alter my diet too much. I've been consuming more plant-based meals with a little bit of protein on the side, typically like, meats, lean meats and things like that. And I think I'm going to stick to that. I think I'm going to keep incorporating more beans for protein and fiber to kind of keep that gut really healthy. Also some probiotic foods, some non-fat Greek yogurt, some sauerkraut and pickles and things like that. Alongside with it, just to kind of cultivate a healthy microbiome, make sure my digestive tract's going well, because when you exercise a lot, you can actually put your digestive tract in a little bit of distress. So yeah, that's kind of like where my meals are. Maybe I'll do a meal prep video or something like that, but again, we're just kind of starting with the bare bones and things like that. But that's the game plan for now. Like I said, I'll kind of keep the videos coming out for you guys. We can discuss some stuff and whatnot, but till next time, I'll catch you guys later.